Hi, my name is Austin Gil, and I like to build fun and interesting things for the web. In my videos, I'm going to be building out new projects, checking out different technologies, and sharing the things that I learn along the way. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to tag along, then why don't you subscribe and we can build something fun together. Hey, so I've got a cool little tip that I wanted to share today from a project that we've been working on in the live stream. So if I open this project up, the little weather app that I'm building with some user location detection, and I want it to be fast, so it's got no ads and it's deployed to Akamai edge workers. But the thing that I want to focus on today is actually around the design. So if we notice the app right away, it's kind of loading in this dark mode design or colors. And the way that we're doing that, the reason why I think this is cool is because I want to show that this application actually right now it's in dark mode, but if I change my user preferences to a light mode and I go back to my application, it actually responds in kind. So it has this light mode, dark mode detection, and it will have a black background with white text in dark mode and a white background with black text in light mode. How is this magic kind of working? Now, you may have a couple ideas if you know a lot about CSS, but I want to show you because I think it's cool. Down here, we have this rule of :root, and we're setting a color scheme to light and dark. And what this rule allows us to do is to tell the browser, as a developer, my application supports both light mode and dark mode, and I as a developer prefer light mode. But because I support both, the browser is going to defer to the user settings to try and see if the user's preferred settings is supported, and then use browser default colors for the application. So we'll go back to dark mode and see how that changes. And what we see is, once again, we have a black background and white text because those are browser default colors for dark mode. So that's pretty cool. I, as a developer, don't actually have to define what color I want my application to be or what background color I want to use. Now, there's a couple other cool things I wanted to point out here because I think they're kind of related. And that is, if you notice on this table, these border colors in between the table cells, they were actually changing as well to reflect the dark mode and light mode. And the way we're accomplishing that is with this border bottom rule, and we're setting it to 1 pixel, the solid style, and we're using this current color keyword. And what this current color does is it will take whatever the current text color is and be that. So if the text color is purple or blue or whatever, that's what the current color will correspond to. So we can see that because if I change my current color to blue, not just the text changes, but also the borders in between these table elements. And we can also see that we can use the current color on multiple properties, like the background. We can set the whole background and the current text to blue, so we can't see anything. But I think that's pretty cool. There's some cases where it's really handy to style things based on the current color, maybe with icons or SVGs or things like that. Now, the other cool thing that we have here that's worth pointing out is these gray colors in between these, or as we do the even numbers in the table rows. So we know that black comes from the system defaults, the black background. We know that the white text comes from the system defaults. But what about this gray color? If you notice, when I was in light mode, it was a lighter gray, so we could have black text on top. And now we have kind of a darker gray. And the way we are doing that is we're actually also using another special sort of keyword that's available in CSS, and it's this button face keyword. So we're setting the background color to button face. And what is button face? It's going to be a little bit easier if I explore these CSS color documentation in MDN. So CSS has some keywords that are available, all of these colors that are built in. Some of them are really pretty. I really like lavender. So all of these colors that we got in CSS 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have a couple other keywords like transparent or that current color that we saw a moment ago. Or we can go down to what's called these system colors. And what these system colors are is they represent some of the colors that are built into the browser by default. So we have the canvas is where that background color is coming from. The canvas text is the color of the text that's on the page. And then we also have this button face, which is the background color for controls like buttons or button text, which is the text color. So we're using this button face color to add a background color here to make it easier to alternate. And the really cool thing about this is, once again, if we switch back to light mode, we'll see that that color corresponds to the light gray that you find behind buttons. So it's a really handy way to kind of toggle or alternate tables and still support light and dark mode. And it even works really well in high contrast mode. You won't see this light gray button, this light gray background color, but our whole application still kind of works well. Now, if you need one last thing, if you need to do some more advanced checking whether light mode or dark mode is enabled, you can tap into this media query called prefers color scheme, where you can detect if a user prefers the dark color or prefers light mode. And then you can have special rules for different types of colors. I'm using some that are provided by the browser just because I think it's cool, but that's another option. So I thought this was a really handy, cool little tidbit of information, and I wanted to share it with you, and I hope you liked it. And if you did, let me know. Reach out on Twitter, or you can follow along on the live stream on YouTube or Twitch. And yeah, feel free to subscribe if you like these tips and you want to keep getting more of them. Okay, cool. I'll catch you next time.